Across Europe, there's a rising tide of populism.
Well, populism in Italy now has become a powerful force as they are in the government.
You may see in Sweden a growing tendency of populism.
Many of our member churches are struggling with the effects of rising populism.
Populism is, of course, a global phenomenon.
But what exactly do we mean by populism?
It's really when a large number of people have some sort of grievance with society and they feel that those in power, maybe the political elites and others, aren't taking those grievances seriously enough or aren't doing things which are making change.
It's a very thin-centered ideology, and that ideology can then be combined with varying content-driven ideologies. So there might be right-wing populism, there might be left-wing populism.
What do the proponents of populism focus on?
They want the power back to the nation.
You have this anti-establishment and anti-elite movement.
They speak against refugees and immigrants.
Politicians use the othering of certain communities and minorities as a way of gathering more votes.
There's always an enemy identified to demonize and so forth, but that creates further societal division.
It's destroying of solidarity and of the common sense of being a fellow human being.
In this climate, tolerance towards minority cultures and faiths has weakened.
Politicians are instrumentalizing Islamophobia to gain political strength and lead to actual cases of physical violence, of hate crime, of crimes of aggression. A recent example is a woman from Andalus in Belgium who, because she was wearing a headscarf, was attacked. Her headscarf was removed, her upper clothes were removed as well, and her skin was tortured with a sharp object. She was called a dirty Arab.
Islamophobia is matched by a resurgence in anti-Semitism.
I was born and raised in Brussels in a Jewish family, and I have to say that in the past 10 years I didn't always feel 100% safe being Jewish in Brussels, especially in 2014 when there was this terrorist attack at a Jewish museum in Brussels.
Given this threat to religious freedom and intercultural relations, what's the role of the church and other faith groups?
I think that churches can do a lot more to prevent Islamophobia. They can do this by raising awareness in masses. They can do this by showing more support and more solidarity.
I think we need more dialogue between communities.
Partnerships are very important. We've already seen cases within Europe where CEC, for example, has paired and partnered with the Jewish and Muslim communities. For example, the case in Iceland, the repealing of the anti-circumcision bill, which was quite a big plus point for freedom of religion and belief.
Recognizing the risks to members of minority religions, the United Nations, in collaboration with World Council of Churches and other peace groups, has developed a plan of action.
The plan of action includes a series of recommendations that religious leaders and actors can consider in situations where there is widespread incitement to violence and where there is a risk of atrocity crimes.
This plan is backed up in Europe by a strong legal regime against the oppression of religion.
Freedom of thought, conscience and religion is the fundamental right enshrined in the Convention on Human Rights of the Council of Europe, particularly in Article 9 and Article 10 of our Convention. This is one of the most important rights that Council of Europe is trying to promote and implement.
Even so, there are weaknesses in implementing those human rights.
It's very good on the paper, it's very good on the institutional level, but states are not always compliant.
Given the dangers of populism, how can Christians safeguard and promote freedom of religion or belief?
The core message of this faith is love to the neighbor. So in churches we should become builders of respect and builders of love between human beings.
We should use speech to say the things that we've always said for 2,000 years. So love your neighbor as yourself, be kind to the poor, feed people who are hungry, and try to be careful that nobody is left behind.